Hi, my name is Ann and this is Stitching in Hand, FlossTube number 6. This is a channel primarily about cross stitch and a little bit of sewing. If you're on Instagram, you can find me there too, also Stitching in Hand. I want to welcome all of those who are watching for the first time. Welcome. And thank you to those of you who are returning subscribers, or maybe you've liked my videos, or all those good things. I appreciate it. I really do. I appreciate all of you. So I made some notes today. I'm trying to be a little bit more succinct. So if I'm looking down, that's the reason. I want to thank everybody who reached out to me regarding my husband's surgery. He's home now and he's doing well. He's still in quite a bit of pain, but every day gets a little bit better. So so that's good. That's the outcome we wanted. So hopefully the surgery will relieve him long term. So thank you for all your kind words and your prayers for him. I do appreciate that. So today is Saturday, February 4th. I'm filming in yet another area of my house. I'm trying to find the best spot, and it's evening now. It's dark outside, and I'm a little bit surprised that this room has as much light as it does. My house is kind of dark, I think. When I'm trying to find a bright spot, it seems that it's pretty dark. I don't have a lot of overhead lighting, which is fine, although I do have can lights in this room, so I think that's what's helping, and I don't have them turned on behind me. I tried that and it didn't look right. So anyway, I'm trying to find the best spot for recording, and one that's not quite so sloppy as my sewing room. It's not really sloppy. It just looks, it's kind of distracting, all that stuff that I have behind me when I film up there. So today I have a couple of whips, works in progress. I have a finish. I have a couple of old finishes that I might have already shown you. I can't recall, but I don't think I did. And I also have, I want to show you how I store my patterns. I have what I think is a pretty good system, and I spent some time organizing it a bit more last weekend. So I'm excited to show you that. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, please stick around. First thing I want to talk about though is which floss tubes do you people watch? Which ones do you guys like? I of course love Nisi Lynn and Stitching with, and Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. I really enjoy Anna on Stitch Roadies. In fact, I was watching her yesterday and she was talking about a new frame that you sit on, actually. You sit on the base of it, I guess, and then you can use it to stitch. Now, Stitching in Hand, I don't use frames, period. I've tried. I'm just not comfortable with them. I did ask her if she could still, because she also stitches in hand frequently, and I asked her, is that still possible? And she said it was, that she just kind of puts the fabric into the frame loosely. So it's a little intriguing, but I don't really, for me, I can't figure out a need for it. So I don't think I'll be buying the frame, but anyway, you might, if you're interested in a frame that you can sit on. It was tiny. It wasn't very big. It was nice little compact thing. Anyway, I do enjoy her videos as well. One I've just run across recently and I've binge watched is Running with Scissors, Stitching with Jane and Julie. They are so funny, and I think the longer you watch the videos, the more of their personalities, their true personalities come out, and they, how they kind of feed off of one another. They're cute, they're funny. They have a really nice friendship, and they're fun to watch. So I enjoy them. If you haven't checked them out, be sure you do. Running with Scissors. So I'm curious of other floss tubes that I watch other ones too, but those are the ones I've been enjoying a lot lately. So I'm curious what everybody is watching, and like Stitching with Jane and Julie, they've been around a while, but I just happened across them the other day. So it's kind of, you don't always know who's out there, so to speak. So anyway, Okay, so let's get started. What was a whip has become a finished project. So I'll show you that one in a minute. But so when my husband was in the hospital, I bought some larger count. Is it larger or smaller count? I'm never quite sure. It's 28 count, so I guess it's smaller count because 32 would be larger than 28. Anyway, I wanted something that I didn't need a magnifying glass for because I knew that there'd be plenty of waiting in the hospital, and there was. My daughter and I were there for 9 hours on Tuesday. And of course, when he saw us at the end of the day, he thought it was like 2 hours because you know how that goes when you're under anesthesia and all. Anyway, it's, you know, that's just what it is. It was an experience, I think, for my daughter because she's never been through that. I've sat in many hospitals for hours and hours with relatives and that sort of thing, and so all in all, it went fine, and he's doing fine. Anyway, I started stitching on this from Little House Needleworks when he was in the hospital. It is called Schoolgirl Lessons, and this was one that I got the other day from 123 Stitch. So this is the progress I made that day. But what I have discovered is that I cut the fabric too small. As you can see, the top of the house, the roof is not on, nor is the tree or the letters that are right above there. So it's gonna come pretty close up here. But I think, you know, it's gonna be fine because I'm just gonna turn it into a pillow probably. So no big deal. But it was the night before, we're getting ready, you know, getting him ready and everything to go, packing up and all that. And I was distracted, and you know what happens when you're distracted. So that's fine, no problem. So since I finished Heart and Hand, the 2023 Collector's Heart, before I am starting on a new project, this is going to be my new thing now. I'm going to finish an old project. So I pulled this one out. This is the drawn thread, and it's called From My Heart. And this is my own conversion. Oh yeah, this is my own conversion. Oh, where's my whiteboard? Oh, here it is. Sorry about that. One moment. There we go. So I did another one of these little hearts last night, and I made, you know, I did the back stitching on the hand. I'm really struggling with, there's two little hearts down here at the bottom. Now the paper flew away over there on the other side of the floor. And it's like a straight stitch. It's like a satin stitch. It's kind of like a satin stitch. It's just really, I don't know, I put it in and ripped it out 3 times, and I'm about ready to make it cross stitch because I'm really struggling with it. So anyway, I don't have much to go in this. I want to finish that one up before Valentine's Day would be good. And then, as I said, I finished the Heart and Hand 2023 Collector's Heart. And here it is. And this was stitched on, oh, let me tell you what that other thing was stitched on. The Little House Needleworks is 28 count lamb's wool linen, and I used sampler threads from the Gentle Art, and the color is cranberry. If you want the conversion for the drawn thread one, put it in the comments and I can let you know what that is. My colors are significantly different. I mean, they're pink and grays and that, but they're different from what she has in that one. Anyway, okay, this is, I'm dropping everything today. Okay, here's my finish. And this one is on 32 count Heartland linen from Picture This Plus. And the floss is Cottage Garden Threads, and the color is Leather Bound. I made a mistake somewhere along the line, so I had to adjust up here, but it's fine. It's only off by 1 stitch. And the older I get, the more I appreciate imperfection. So, because there's a lot of it around me. Okay, here's my question for you all. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this, but there will be fabric involved. Whatever I do, it's gonna have some fabric, one way or the other, whether I make it into a pillow or if I do a flat fold thing or whatever they call it. And I grabbed some fabric from my stash. I'm not crazy about this. I think it's a little too modern or something. It's okay, I guess. It's okay. Here's another one. That one has got little hearts on it. This one has a bunch of numbers. I think it's too red. This one actually has little X's. I'm not mad hot about that either. And this one is, you know, pink with a tiny bit of red. I think this one, I don't know. I feel like if it was a pillow, this one would be fine. And then maybe I'd find some kind of trim that would be the same color, or, you know, a dark red, and then that would pull those two things together. So if you have any suggestions, all the other reds in my little fabric stash are really like Valentine-y, bright, or now more Christmas. I should say they're more Christmas kinds of reds. Just really bright red. And this is a darker, it's darker. Anyway, I like it. I'm happy with it. Oh, and it has a little tiny quilt button right there. A little wooden button. So that is that. Okay. Now I've lost my place here. Okay. A few other things I want to show you that are finished. These are things I finished a long time ago. Years ago, as a matter of fact. But they're all finished in what might be considered, you know, a little bit untraditional way. I don't know. So, like, for example, this is in a tiny little frame, but it's in this kind of a frame that sits on and I can't think of what these are called. There is a name for them, and I feel like the word candle is in it, but I could be wrong about that. But this can move up and down, and this, I don't know what this pattern is. I just stitched it many years ago. And my heart is true. It is. This one, I don't know. I don't know what this one is either. And these patterns, again, this weekend I went through every pattern I own. And I didn't find any of I didn't find this one or the one I just showed you. This one is really tiny. It's stitched over one. I can't really do that anymore. Those were the good old days. But again, this is another one of those frames. I think I'm pretty sure I bought these frames at Welcome Stitchery when it used to be here. But maybe I didn't. Maybe I bought them somewhere else. I don't know. Memory. Oh, memory. It's not great. Okay. Here's another less than traditional. I don't know. Why am I calling it traditional? Anyway, this is another application for cross stitch. And this box has stuff in it, but it's a little shaker box, which I really like shaker boxes. This one almost feels a little bit warped. Anyway, I'm just gonna take the lid off because there's stuff in the box. And this is, okay, don't look at that right there. But here, it's a beautiful box. This is a shepherd's bush. And where is it? I have it here somewhere. Well, wait, let's see where I've got it. Oh, here it is. Okay. It is Gathered Hours by Shepherd's Bush. See, I did buy this at Welcome Stitchery. There's the proof right there. And this is the one that I stitched. Has a little beadwork on it as well. Then I have another shaker box. This one is oval and it has a handle. There's nothing in this one. It's empty. I love these boxes. I think they're really pretty and I love the stitching on top of them. I don't know what this pattern is, but look at how gorgeous it is. I just think it's so pretty. The beautiful colors. They're very subtle, like light greens and light blues. some grays and, you know, just off-white. A lot of satin stitching in there. I love this. I stitched this way back in 1995. The only problem is they get so dusty, and how do you prevent that? I mean, I guess I should dust more frequently. But I think what I'm gonna do is take the vacuum, take the little attachment, you know, that little one you're supposed to use on your lampshades and stuff, and which actually works pretty well on lampshades if you've never done it. I've got a silk lampshade right next to me here, and they get dusty. Okay, I'm back. That was weird. It froze. I don't know if it froze on you guys, but it froze on me. So I was talking about vacuuming my cross stitch. I'm gonna try to vacuum the tops of those boxes gently and see if I can just pull a little bit of that dust out. I'm sure I can. Okay, now real quick, I'm gonna show you these. I have oh wow. Now I can see this in the light of day. I filmed this video twice. And the other day when I was looking at these, I did not notice. These are a bunch of needle rolls that I've stitched over the years. And wow, this one is extremely, wait, which one? This one. It's really all like faded, or it's kind of weird. I don't know what happened there, but I didn't notice that until just now. These, I think all of these are from Shepherd's Bush. They were all kits, little kits. I remember buying, well, I bought a lot of them because I have probably 8 or 10 of them right here. I don't know the names of them because the only one I could find, the only picture I could find is right here, is one that I don't have anymore. This was called Welcome Baby, or I think it was called Welcome Baby. So I must have made this and given it to a baby, or that baby's mama, and I don't remember who. So I don't have any of these anymore. I think when I was in my mad state of mind and I threw away all those cross stitch magazines, I know that I packed up a box of things that I just thought, well, I'm never going to stitch these again, so I might as well give them away. And I do have one friend who has a group of friends who cross stitch. So I gave her the box of stuff and said, give this to your friends and let them do what they want with it. And so I'm sure that those patterns have to be, because I wouldn't have thrown them away. I would not have thrown the patterns away. Anyway, that being said, doesn't matter. I'm not going to be stitching any of these again. So this is a little one, forget-me-nots. There's something here. There's a stain. I don't know what happened there. This one, a needle thin, be placed herein, can stitch and hem, darn, sew, and mend. These were fun to stitch. They were a lot of work, I'll tell you that. No doubt, they were a lot of work. This one is about sheep. So there's the sheep up at the top. That's definitely the shepherd's bush. This one is like a little garden gate down here. The sun and lots of flowers, and a lot of them have this little piece, or a piece of lace. Actually, they all do, I think. This one I really like. This is honeybee. You know, it's so interesting to me why we like certain things. And I'm trying to figure out, like, what is it about this particular one that just appeals to me so much? Is it the colors? I don't think it's the colors, because I'm not really a yellow, goldy kind of person, but I don't know what it is about this particular stitching that really appeals to me, you know, over the rest of these, because they're all lovely. This one's pretty too. I don't know, this one doesn't really seem to have a theme, just pretty is the theme, I guess. We'll go with that. This one is violets, a little watering can. Now I have all of these stored in this little basket. I'm not happy with this storage. You know, I don't know. I would like to figure out a different way to store them, but how do you store them? I mean, they're just needle rolls. You can't really, I don't know what you can do with them. This one is hearts, lots of hearts on here. And this is a little birdhouse one, and I can see there was a birdhouse on here and it fell off. I remember that birdhouse. It was kind of a thick birdhouse, so I'm sure it just pulled through the, oh there, just pulled that right off there. It pulled through the floss, probably tore, you know. And I've seen that birdhouse around my house somewhere. I don't know where. I'll come across it one of these days. If I can, and then hopefully I'll remember where it goes when I find it. This one is about snowmen. Or snowfall, I guess. And then this last one, and again, this is another one that I really like, but I think this one is because it has this over one stitching. This one is about pansies, and pansies bloom to greet the day, nodding heads in sweet array. So I don't know if these are all still available through Shepherd's Bush. I don't see why not, but I guess they, you know, everybody discontinues patterns at some point or another, I suppose. I don't know. I don't know for a fact, so don't quote me on any of that. Okay. All right, these next three or four, are things that I stitched a long time ago, and I am finished with them. I don't think I showed you, and if I did, I apologize, but I'm going to show you again. So there's a little bit of specialty stitching in this one. And stitched this a long time ago, 1994. Wow, almost, is that 30 years? Is that right? Oh my gosh. Time is just ticking away. I don't know the pattern, I'm sorry. It's stitched on linen, that's all I can tell you. Oh boy. Okay, this is another Shepherd's Bush. This one is called, I have the pattern. Let me show you the pattern first. Shepherd's Spring. And here is my little shepherd. Again, these Shepherd's Bush always have, I mean, their band samplers always have a lot of specialty stitches. And the way I was struggling with the specialty stitches yesterday on that heart, the one from the drawn thread, I don't know, it's a wonder that I got all these done. I really enjoyed doing them, I remember. It's always fun to do these specialty stitches because it's just fun. It's a little, you know, you get into a rhythm, and they're really pretty. I like them. Okay, there's that. And then this one I thought was finished, but as I sat here looking at it a moment ago, I realized it's not finished, Anne. There's just a tiny little bit of beadwork left. So hopefully I can find the beads. I was noticing, oh, here's a bead, but there's not one over here. And then I realized, oh, it's because you didn't finish putting the beads on. So I need to finish that and this right here. See those two beads? Gotta go all the way across. I think the rest of the beadwork is done. So I'll show you from the top here. I'll show you the pattern in a minute. It is called, I can't see what it's called. I'll show you in a second. Maybe something moon. Again, lots of specialty stitches, but aren't they fun? They're pretty. There's mittens there, and a hat. And then the moon, and it looks like a little angel at the bottom. So that one, and this one, I actually have a frame ready to go. And the frame I found, and this is a little, what do they call it when you give a hint, a tip, a pro tip? I don't know. If you are in the US and you have a Joann's in your area, and maybe even Michael's does this, I don't know for sure, but I know Joann's does, at least the Joann's by my house. In the framing section, toward the back, if you kind of go with one of the end caps, you'll find frames that people ordered that they canceled for whatever reason. And sometimes you can find some good deals over there. And I found a frame, believe it or not, like this super long, and I think it's cherry. It's just long and it fits this perfectly. And I just lucked out when when I saw it, I was like, I'm buying that frame because it was inexpensive. It was a long time ago that I bought it. I don't remember exactly what it cost, but it was well worth it. It's a beautiful frame. So I have no excuse. I've got a frame. I need to get this one done. Beaded and framed. Okay, now let's see, what's the next thing? Okay, now I want to talk to you about how I organize my patterns. So I used to, this is my family room where I stitch. I stitch over on the other side of the room. And we have a cabinet down here where I keep all my stitching supplies. It's just, you know, the TV's on it and all that. But there's some cabinets and a couple of drawers on the bottom, and all my stuff fits in there pretty nicely. So what I keep down here are the things I'm currently working on. I do keep all my floss down here, and I had a couple of binders where I had some patterns that I was working on down here, and I have my sulky thread. And then upstairs in my sewing room, I have a big drawer where I kept everything else, all the stuff that I've pretty much given up on over the years. And so I decided, okay, last weekend I took all of the patterns and I brought them all down here and sorted everything out. And I broke them up into patterns I've stitched, patterns I haven't touched, and free patterns. So here is the exciting way that I store my patterns. It works really well for me. Maybe it will work for you. What I do is I have 4 binders. These are 2-inch binders. I had to buy new binders because I really got organized and put everything away. And then I have the sheet protectors. So here, I'm going to show you what I mean. If you don't know what a sheet protector is, these are sheet protectors. So, you know, there's like a little cellophane thing, and it has these holes along the side, so you can just put it right into your binder. So what I do is I put one pattern on one side, and then I'm going to cover this up, and then I put another pattern on the other side. So then I put them in my binder, and I can just flip through the binder. It's a little tricky to show you. I can just flip through the binder, see what I've got, and I can see everything really nicely. So, you know, I think I showed you that, and I know I've stitched at least one of those guys. Let's see what's on the back side of this. I don't want to show any. Oh, there. See? So these are all ones that I finished. Now, in here, obviously, I have not stitched all 9 of those Santas. So, but I put the Santas. Oh no, there's only 8 Santas on there. Are there 9? Yeah, there are 9. No, there's 8. Trouble counting. I put them in here because I know I've stitched at least one of them. So if I find that Santa and I think, well, where is the pattern for that? I'll know where to look. Now, so that being said, there are still patterns in here that I've never stitched. So I can always peruse my book, my binder, and see, well, let me look and see what I haven't stitched in here. So I have two binders like this of patterns I've stitched. This one, about half of it is full of patterns I've stitched, and the other half is full of free. I'm not going to show you. I think even if they're free, you're not supposed to show. I don't know. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. And I keep in mind, when I find new free patterns, I've been adding them to my long list of links in my description. So check them out if you're looking for something free to stitch. But I print them out and I put them in here. And many of them I've stitched, a lot of them I haven't. But it's kind of nice actually having them in, you know, like this. It's easy to page through them and they don't get all, you know, tattered. Okay, so those are the ones that I have stitched. Then I have 2 more binders. This is the embarrassing part. I have 2 pretty much full binders of patterns that I have not stitched. Now, do I ever need to step foot in a needlework store again? but I will. You know I will. We all will. But does anybody have as many patterns that they haven't stitched as I do? Because I feel a little bit embarrassed. Not embarrassed, but like, oh my gosh, I have spent a lot of money. But then I've heard someone say that they collect patterns. So I guess I'm gonna go with that. I'm a pattern collector too. I mean, honestly, almost every one of these patterns, I do still want to stitch. It's not that there's patterns in here that I don't want to stitch. I do. I want to stitch them all. But when will I do that? I don't know, unless I live like another 100 years. I'm not sure that that's going to happen. Anyway, so I have 2 binders full of patterns that I have not stitched. Also, when those patterns, maybe they came in a kit or as a kit with beads or with fabric or with floss, I kept all that together, put them in the sheet protectors. I do have about, I don't know, 5 or 6 larger, like this Dartmouth sampler from Shepherd's Bush. And it comes with fabric and floss and everything. This is really old. I bought this a long time ago. And it won't really fit in unless I took it out of this. And I don't really want to take it out of this plastic bag. So these I just have to the side. There's not too many. Well, there's like 7. Oh, and I never did tell you the name of that one that was, Winter Moon. Winter Moon is the one that I stitched earlier. Oh, and there go all those onto the floor. Okay, so there's that. There is that, my pattern organization. When organizing my patterns, I discovered I have, and surprisingly, only 1 duplicate pattern. So I'm thinking about, I hear other floss tubers doing shares or giveaways, and I don't know if you're even allowed. I'm not sure what all the rules are, so I'll figure it out and figure out how I'll give this pattern away. It happens to be this Lizzie Kate. Bless all that grows. I do remember stitching this. I stitched it for my sister who has a farm, and it's a cute pattern. But that's for another day, so you'll have to come back. Okay, last thing, my books. 2 more books to show you. The first one, 500 Flower and Animal Cross-Stitch Designs by Julie Hasler. I believe this was published in the United Kingdom, and it was published in 1996. It is a lot of motifs, borders, alphabets, as it says on the back, a wealth of advice on creating original gifts, an inspirational cross-stitch source book. So all of the patterns are in colored pencil, really well done. It's super neat and nicely drawn. There's not a lot of pictures in here, so you're gonna have to use your own imagination, more so than in other books. I'm trying to find the page that have the pictures. There's mostly patterns, honestly. Okay, here are some of the butterflies, one application, top of those little boxes. You don't see those little boxes anymore. I don't see them anyway. Would be a nice way to finish something. This is another, but this doesn't seem like that would be a motif that's in this book. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if that owl is in this book anywhere, because it looks to me they're more like that type of thing. So maybe that's just an example of how to finish something. It could be. Oh, here's another one. This one has a lot of fish. Butterflies on the one and fish on the other. And one of those door hanger things. So there's that book. It's a nice one. And then this last one is the Complete Encyclopedia of Needlework. Did I show you that? Yeah, I showed you the cover of that. Complete Encyclopedia of Needlework. Now, this is a tome, as they say in the biz, in the library biz. They don't say that. It's black and white. There are some photos in black and white, poorly photographed photos in black and white. There are some drawings. Let me see when this thing was published. I'd be curious to, okay, the first publication was 1972. This one was 1996. It would be curious to see a current copy of this book, if it's any different. I don't know, do they, when they republish something, do they update the photographs? I don't know about that. Anyway, this book covers a lot. It covers plain sewing, mending, I'm just flipping through here, embroidery, linen embroidery, applique, embroidery on silk and velvet, knitting, crochet, tatting, macrame, fillet lace, I don't know, I'm not sure how you say that. Open work on linen, and I know I missed some, embroidered laces, needle made laces, pillow laces, needlework trimmings. Anyway, there's a lot of information in this book, and if that, you know, if you have interest in other kinds of needlework, this would be a really good resource. You know, it's the kind of thing that you just refer to. You don't sit down and read. Believe me, you don't sit down and read this. If you do, maybe you can't sleep at night, and then you could do that. Okay, let me just take a quick glance at my notes here and see if I covered everything I wanted to cover. I hope I did. But you know what? If I didn't, there's always next week. Next week is another week, and I will come back. I'm kind of struggling with these videos. Like I recorded this whole video yesterday, and then I realized I did it in the wrong mode, and I'm fairly technically savvy, so, but videography is not my thing. Put me on a computer and I can do my job. Anyway, I believe it was filmed at just a much too high resolution, so it was taking forever to get it from my iPhone to my iPad, and I suppose I actually need a normal camera to film these videos, but for now it's going to be on this iPhone. So anyway, I had to redo it, and I thought, well, given that opportunity, I will change locations and get a little more organized. So I hope that this was enjoyable, and I'm glad you stuck around if you did. And so if you'd like and subscribe and all that stuff, I would appreciate it. It'd be great, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.